Hello there. I'm I'm your pal Dave. I'm live from London, England. It's nice and sunny here for a change. The under 21 team just won. I'm taking over Parliament. Oi, fucking hell. Hi everybody. I'm live in London in an Airbnb. Yeah, I'm actually living under the bridge over right there. Oi, in the Thames. Hey everybody. Um yeah, I figured I would try and do this from the Airbnb if it works. I hope the audio and the video looks good. The lighting's okay in here, so that's not bad. But it's been fun. I've been here since the 5th. I flew out of Seattle on the 4th of July, and got in mid-afternoon in London. Sun's out, guns out. What's up, Ray? Yeah, it's fucking hot actually. It's not as hot as it was today, but it was like high 80s with humidity. I haven't been excuse me. I haven't been in a city with humidity in a long time. We don't have that in the Northwest. Just like California doesn't really have humidity. They have heat. Good. Everything looks great. I'm drinking the Highland Spring. I'm actually going to Scotland on Monday, but tomorrow, sun's out, guns out. But tomorrow, I'm going to see one of my all-time favorite bands, Blur, and they obviously never got as huge in the States as they did in the UK, but Damon Albarn had success with a different band called Gorillaz. Yeah, so they're playing Wembley Stadium tonight, and then they're playing tomorrow, and I'm going tomorrow. I've got biscuits, Nutella biscuits, and I've got McCrisps. I don't know. I just bought those today. Def Prime, what's up? Evening. Oh no, don't know what just happened there. So I went to a Comic-Con today, which was cool. It wasn't like the greatest Comic-Con in the world, but it was nice to experience that in another country. Kind of makes me think about going to like Lake Como next year or Angoulême or something, something interesting. But con I went to today was called London Film and Comic Con, and it's like every modern Comic Con. It's more focused on the guests and film and TV and stuff. But there were some decent booths there for comics, and then I got to meet Brian Bolland and the Biz, Simon Bisley. That was really cool. And Mark Buckingham, who I was really excited to meet, was not there due to a family emergency. But unfortunately for me, he was the only person that I brought something from home to get signed. I've been working on this Fables 1001 Nights of Snowfall book, which is illustrated by there's 12 or 15 different artists. Anyway, I previously had all these names autographed in here: Tara McPherson, Brian Bolland, who I met very briefly years ago, Charles Vess, Michael Kaluta, James Jean, and Jill Thompson down here. But I was hoping to get Buckingham on there, but unfortunately, Buckingham had to cancel. So it's a problem, It's like a bunch of people that did art in that book are British, and they just don't come to the States, like John Bolton or Mark Buckingham. So I'm going to show a little clip of that. That was at the Olympia. It's kind of like a giant, I think it's a former armory, or maybe it's an airplane hangar or something. But it's like a convention center that they're building on near Hammersmith. Nobody beats the Biz. He's so nice. He was such a nice guy. I'm going to see him again at Rose City Comic Con in Portland in October or September. I think it's September. And I'll get a commission from him then, because he does commissions at conventions. Dr. Von Hoot's Comics from the Spiral Dimension. You were close to... Oh, yeah. It was, I found some stuff, but I was looking for UK stuff only. I wasn't really looking for American comics or American size comics. Even the pence variants or the regular price ones, according, you know, if you're from here, that stuff is just a little too high priced for me to really want, especially because I'm not a huge Bronze Age collector, and the Silver Age pen stuff is just super expensive. But check this out. I'll show a little clip right here of what the show floor looked like. So, I mean, it's huge in space, which is nice. Then you get down those aisles, and it's kind of upstairs was artist alley. A lot of the photo ops were off to the side, so it at least gave a good, good space. Yeah, but I mean, I did get some really good stuff today. I'm going to show off the first thing that I got. I not only was looking for it, was I didn't really talk to anybody, honestly, with the exception of a couple people at the stores that I went to. But hopefully what happens is when I post the video of me going to the Comic-Con, that'll turn some British people onto the show. But check this out. The first thing I found at the show was one of the very few things that I was looking for. And that was this 1990 Spider-Man annual. So the annual books in the UK are hardbound, hardcover. And they're roughly the size of like a regular kid's book. But this contains, I want to say it's Amazing Spider-Man 303 and 304. So there's Todd work in there. And then obviously the cover is, obviously, So Mega City was the third store I hit, and that was my favorite store by far. And we'll talk about that in just a little bit. Probably probably only going to be on for an hour, just because I would like to go to bed sooner than later. I'm an early riser, so more sleep tomorrow, the better. But yes, this was the first thing I found upon entering the con, so it was really, really stoked. Yeah, these are fun, and I might try and find some more while I'm here, because you just can't get this stuff anywhere in the States. The hardback annuals, that's awesome. So it's funny, I must have had a Beano comic when I was a kid, because I was really familiar with that title and what it looked like. So I must have had some British Beano comics. No, it's only 11:30 right now, Tyler. So it's 8 hours time difference from Washington, and it's 5 for you. All right. So first things first. Apparently, there is a decent amount of people that brought over Foom to the UK, because I went to Gosh Comics yesterday and I had to scoop this up. This is a PC copy. I was actually trying to get a copy of this at the Bronze Age Batcave claim sale, and I think Andrew P. scooped this up. But this is Foom 17 with that famous Stan Lee cover that became the Marvel 90 series, Marvel Universe 90 Stan Lee card. And it's cool because this doesn't have an address stamp on back, so it's really nice. And there's a Kiss back cover. I saw a couple of the Transformer hardbacks today. They weren't cheap, and I'm not a huge Transformers collector, so I didn't buy any. I'm trying to buy stuff for the PC, and then trying to buy stuff that I know that I'll be selling at the next sale when I come back. Speaking of Tyler, he's at a 45-degree angle, even in the UK. Tarantula cover at the 45-degree angle. I almost bought another one today. Maybe I did buy them. Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna try and find more of those Spider-Man annuals, because the one that's on eBay is like $600, which is crazy. It's crazy. I did buy a couple of Pence variants. I did buy a couple of Pence books while I was here, just so far. And one of them is this Kazar number 12, which is the first Man-Thing in a comic book. Obviously appears in magazine format first, but I do dig the 6 pence on there. So that's nice. What else? But the con was fun for what it was. You know, I wasn't expecting to be blown away. Um, Meeting Brian Bolland was great because the last time I met him, I don't think he was in a mood to talk. It was at New York Comic Con like a decade ago. So it was really nice. And he's super, super personable today. Oh, awesome, Ryan. Nice to see you. Hope you're doing well. If you're around for the London Comic Mart, I'm not. Unfortunately, I'm not. I know it's at the end of the month, and I go to Scotland on Monday, and then I leave to go back home on the 20th. Had I known in advance, I would have stayed in London for an extra, couple days to go to the Comic Mart. But next time I come, it's definitely going to be on my list to, like plan a trip for that or around that. Found this. I don't know this magazine. It's another Marvel magazine, but it's a Ken Barr. I believe it's Ken Barr. Yeah, it's a Ken Barr Thor cover, and it's just badass. I haven't looked inside a lot of this stuff because I haven't really had the time, but I will judge a book by its cover. Yeah, it is Bolland. It's not. I heard him say. I mean, like I've heard him say his own name, and it's Bolland. But potato. These are pretty cool. The Chiller pocketbooks. I got a little stack of these. I'll be looking for some more of them. But I figured, can't go wrong with a cool Man Thing cover and a Star Wars watch advertisement on the back. Did I run into Naj? No, I didn't. Our schedules did not align, but I did reach out to her to meet up with her, but it just didn't work out. These I've had before, maybe like 2 years ago. I had found a bunch of these at a store in Seattle, but I couldn't resist a chance to pick up some of these Spider-Man comics weekly. And this is the same cover. This is the third appearance of Lizard. I dig it. These are usually black. These are black and white interiors, and they usually contain, I think, 4 different strips. So it'd be like a piece of a Spider-Man book, a Thor book, as it says on top, and then maybe like Fantastic Four and Avengers. This was a big one. If she's watching, we know that Amber's going to want this. Believe it or not, I saw multiple copies of this today. This is the first appearance of Captain Britain #1. And it's supposed to come with a mask, but I had asked, and they weren't stapled in. They were just loose. So I'm sure finding one with a mask is incredibly hard. But I might try and scoop another copy of this if I can find one. But I really only have half a day tomorrow, basically, to go look for more comics if I want, because the Blur show takes precedence on everything. Oh, don't worry, Tyler. I'm not keeping everything. It's too much stuff to keep everything. This is just what I'm showing tonight. Is just like a little sample. I don't know if you could see that back there. That's all books. And then I did so 885 for a gimmick. That's extortion back. And on that Chiller book. Is that how much it was? No, the Chiller book, it was only 15 pence. And it was only $4. £4. Oh, the Chiller. Maybe that was something else. But it's I did grab a haul. So and I took a lot of video, so there's probably going to be 2, maybe. Oh, the advert. Oh, yeah. The advert on back. Yeah, well, of course they were going to extort everybody that was a Star Wars fan. So yeah, I took a bunch of video, but my experience at Mega City was the best. Martin, who is the owner of the shop, I hung out and spoke with him for about 2.5 hours, and I just kept like asking him about weird stuff and what he gets and like the history of the shop, and he was showing me photos from like they did a premiere party for Deadline magazine. It was, Jamie Hewlett, and it was just a whole bunch of cool people there. But he asked me what I was looking for, and we talked a bit, and then I just kind of said, do you have a Deadline magazine #1? For those of you that aren't familiar, uh, I don't know, Bryce. I don't know. For those of you that aren't familiar with Deadline magazine #1 is the first appearance of Tank Girl, which is a creation by Jamie Hewlett, which, was opted for a movie in the 90s, and I fucking loved it. I fell in love with that. It was like no character I'd ever experienced before. And I didn't think that it was going to be something that I would be able to find, but I did get a Deadline magazine #1. So that's packed away. He actually put it in a Gemini with, I bought a Warrior #1. And Warrior #1 is the first appearance of V for Vendetta. I'll get back to the haul in just a moment. Weather's been summery, muggy, hot, humid, rained a little bit today, but didn't cool off. Not my favorite weather in the world. I've traditionally only been to the UK, London 4 times, and Scotland 4 times, or maybe London 5 times. I've only been there in the winter or the fall, and I much prefer that weather, but, not going to be able to see an outdoor concert at Wembley Stadium, in December. They don't do that. But Blur playing in July is fine. I can deal with it. All right, so this thing's fucking cool. Marvel superheroes and the occult. So it's like different, I guess. I'll flip through this one because I wanted to see what it was. There are only 6 pages of full color. The rest is black and white. It's about 27, 35 pages, something like that. But it's like all different stories taken from different, runs and characters dealing with the occult. There's one that's not credited in here, and it's like the coolest story, but I don't know who it is. So you got to do a little research. But I dug the cover. I dug the title. I figured I was going to like it, and I do. Here's a fun one. Another one of those annuals, but this is an omnibus, Marvel Superheroes omnibus. Once again, I bought it just based on the cover. There's an ASM story in here, Black Suit Spider-Man. I think it's ASM 282, but just a fun one. Going to be fun to figure out who did the artwork. I don't know. It's probably John Byrne, or maybe it's Mike Zeck. I can't really tell. Yeah. There it is. So I wasn't able to find a #8, but I did find some of the Marvel magazine size, the Secret Wars, the first run. Wait, check out Kang. It says #6, fortnightly. Doctor Doom kind of looks like Dr. Derp there. A little bit. Why is he holding Spawn's cape? Even though it's supposedly Thor. But that's Spawn's cape. Come on, we know that. So that's cool. I didn't open this up. Tyler's going to probably have to fight Andrew to get this. But fun and games. Which 2 spiders are exactly the same? There's a whole magazine. I don't like, to me, I'm like, the interior of this is irrelevant to how fucking cool this cover is. And I'm sure this is going to be a lot cooler on the inside. I don't want to take it out because they use tape here that's like super susceptible to tape pulls. They use like it's almost like a packing Scotch tape. You can't really see it, but anyway, this thing's dope, right? We'll fight to the death. Tyler, because I can't stop picking these up either. The Spider-Man TV comic. This is the amazing first color issue. And they spelled color the British way. Because it would be weird if they didn't. But look at them. All right, so this hopefully doesn't get me banned from YouTube. But when I was at Mega City, Martin, the owner, told me a story about how basically Brian. That's right, the right way. Exactly, exactly. That's why it would be weird if it's spelled the American way. This. um, so Martin, the owner of Mega City, told me this funny thing about Brian Ballin. Dropped off like a whole like car full of his personal collection when he was moving because his wife was going to throw it out, and so I bought this from him, which is very early Brian Bolland. It's a zine called Graphics. Anyway, it's called Little Nympho is the story that he wrote, and I had Brian sign it. Ooh, I had Brian sign it today, which was really cool. He laughed when he saw this, so I'm stoked to keep that for the PC. One of the so I've been to Gosh Comics before. Oi, oi, oi! What's up, Trip? What's up, brother? Oh, excuse me. Anyway, I took a visit to Gosh Comics, which I had been to before. They do a lot of local self-published stuff, and then they actually import a lot of self-published stuff from the States, from Floating World and places like that. Well, Floating World's a publisher, but they're a very small publisher out of Portland. Yeah, he said he hadn't seen it in a long time. But what was interesting about Gosh is that, like, I don't know if they don't do like their proper research on what books are like. I don't know. I can't really explain, but I did get this Amazing Spider-Man, the 400 white variant for an equivalent of like $13. It looks like a really crispy copy. And then I think I need this, but Spawn 119, which is first Gunslinger, I think. It's like an unnamed cameo of the Gunslinger, I think. I recognize the cover, and I was pretty sure what it was. I'm going to look it up real quick. Spawn 119. Yeah. First team appearance at the Hall Spawn art. Yeah, it's the first cameo of Gunslinger. It's crazy. And then this was in the like $5 section. I love that cover. And then another Spawn, which I think I may need. That's 117. But yeah, Gosh Comics. But then they had like a whole bunch of wall books up there that were like overpriced. So I really don't understand the market here or the pricing structure here. Some of it's weird, but yeah, exactly. The Gunslinger was like £4.50. It was something crazy. I just like pulled it out. I was like, I'm pretty sure I know what this is. I know what I have. But it was interesting because like Gosh is a store that I really want to say I love. And I think I love it for what it is. But the dude behind the counter, like I had to ask him like 5 different questions before he would look at me. And I didn't want to be rude or anything. Be like, yo, I'm here to spend money, like money. You know, I want to buy good comics. And that's where I got that foom. But after like I think he realized that I was buying stuff, he kind of warmed up a little bit. Yeah, it was a fucking jackpot. Well, I mean, I know it's not happening every day, but I think the thing about Gosh is that they're like like they're half of a tourist shop because of the area that they're in. So like maybe they just want to put comics out at a rapid rate because I'm sure they're selling at a rapid rate. But yeah, it was a score. And then there was some stuff on the wall that was okay priced, and then there was like what I seem to gather, and maybe Dr. Von Hoot can confirm. The comic market here is more interested in buying silver and bronze and gold and maybe some early copper, or like things that fall into the modern, unless they're really big keys, they don't sell often. I don't know. I could be wrong about that. Yeah, go down there. I mean, I only looked. So the stuff I looked for here, Spawn. I always look for Spawn. I've been looking at Bronze and Silver Age horror just because I don't know what I don't know what's popular here and what's not. And then Amazing Spider-Man because I'm trying to find anything that maybe I've something that I've never seen of Todd or some version of Todd in the UK. And then I was having fun looking for Mark Jewelers, and there's a couple of stores had Mark Jewelers, which was really funny. I think I actually I bought a Warlock Strange Tales just because I was like I got to buy Mark Jewelers in another country. So along with the Deadline magazine, um, along with the Deadline number one, when I was at Gosh, they had a Deadline 6 and a Deadline 2. So I got the second appearance of Tank Girl, and this is like might be the second cover, or the third cover. But I'm never going to see this stuff in the States, so I got to pick it up when I'm here. Um, I couldn't believe that I found a fucking Deadline number one. That's just mind blowing to me. I didn't think I didn't think most comic stores would have them. I thought they were a lot harder to find, but I think it's a US thing. So this was just the haul I showed off today. But yeah, as you can see, back there is 2 stacks and then another bag. I'll probably pick some more stuff up in Scotland. I don't know if I will find a ton of stuff in Scotland. I know there's a decent comic scene in Glasgow and Edinburgh, so we'll see. Even 1 or 2 things here or there is going to make me happy anyway. Yeah, that's what I figured. That's kind of like the way things were priced is led me to believe that people are looking for silver and bronze, and it's like I love that stuff, but I just rarely ever buy it single. I buy collections, and obviously it's hard to do here, but I did ask every store I went to if they had a House of Secrets 92, which nobody did. So, what's up, Constantine? I'm having a great trip. Just kind of going over a little bit of the haul, and only not even halfway through it. So really, really happy. Yeah, I think I may try and go back to Mega City tomorrow because there was so much stuff there to buy. Like Mega City, not only was it the best store I went to on this trip so far, but it's one of the best comic stores I've ever been to, period. And sure but for anybody that's never been there or that's going to London, go to Mega City, maybe email and see if Martin's going to be there ahead of time, the owner. He'll just start bringing shit out. Like you ask and he'll be like, well, and then he showed me the new Golden Age collection they got in, and it's pretty amazing. It's a great store. And if you're looking for if you be like, oh, I'm looking for obscure Alan Moore stuff, he'll find it. But for the American collector coming to the UK, you just got to keep your eyes peeled for the stuff that was published here, or sorry, the stuff that was printed here in the weird formats, because it's just interesting. I may buy, if it's still available, a first appearance of the Punisher in UK Spider-Man, and so it would look like, oh, cool. Where is it? It'd be one of those sideways ones, which is really hard for me to get to. But it'd be a horizontal sized Amazing Spider-Man with the same cover as ASM 129. Yeah, you didn't get American comics in mass until the 90s. Yeah, which is funny because like I was kind of bummed to find out that the pence pricing went off the cover in the early 80s, which means, I mean, I guess I was bummed, but also would have liked to own some McFarlane ASM pence price, but they don't exist. So the annual was the best thing. I am stupid, and I did not buy, there was a 1989 Marvel Comics annual, and I should have bought it. I wasn't thinking because that definitely has, I don't know if it has ASM 300 in it, but it might. I just know there's some Todd in there. But yeah, had some really nice conversations with people at the comic stores I went to. The Notting Hill Comic Exchange, I mean, you'll find some fun, weird stuff. And like I said, there's different value put on different things here. I think, there's no inkling that Mark Jewelers are really a thing here. There might be a couple of people that care about that. Um, but like weird indie stuff doesn't seem to really have big price tags on it, which is cool because that's stuff I like. My son Teach, hello, hello, hello. But yeah, I just really came to look for stuff that you can't find in the US because it doesn't make sense to buy stuff. I've a couple of people had some really great books too, some really great early ASM, and at the show today I saw some pre-code horror slabs. I feel like if I I actually thought about it, but I didn't want to take the stuff over, but I bet if I had brought like a box of slabs to the show today, I probably could have traded for some crazy stuff. People are absolutely in love with slabs over here. We know they exist, but don't care about Mark Jewelers. Fair enough. I love them. I love them. I love the journey that those things have taken. Well, here they definitely have taken a journey because they went from military base to military base, or production to military base to comic store. Um, but I walked over to a couple of tables today that were, like inundated with slabs, and people were flipping through those slab boxes like fucking crack fiends. It was wild, especially after doing that. Especially after doing that con last week, and seeing people look through them. But this was like, whoa! Like people were just going crazy, crazy for them. So, and I get it because like for someone, and I know CGC is going to be doing a submission office here, but that won't change the fact that they'll still be, I think, grading and slabbing in Florida. But um, yeah, I guess people just aren't paying for shipping for slabs over here unless they're doing it in, heavy amounts. So that means people that are at cons looking at slabs go crazy for them because most people just aren't doing like a 2 or 10 book submission as a collector. Um, the best comic I hauled in so far was Deadline #1, Deadline magazine #1, which is the first appearance of Tank Girl. And then I just showed off the second appearance of Tank Girl. And if you don't know Tank Girl, I mean, it was a movie in the '90s, but it came from Jamie Hewlett, the brain of Jamie Hewlett. So Jamie Hewlett went on to, work in comics for years, Shade the Changing Man, and I guess he did some Animal Man stuff too. But he is most known to Americans as the visual brain child, the visual maestro of the gorillas. He is 50% of the gorillas. I feel like Richard Gere is meant to come out for body. The room looks nice, but let me just say, there's three of us staying in this Airbnb, and it's 3 bedrooms. It's a 2-floor flat, and a 3-floor actually, and there's no latch on the bathroom door. I guess she thinks that everybody wants to watch each other go to the bathroom. I don't fucking know. Thing is, because CGC is a ball ache to get it graded, and it's hard to find them. And there's a London CGC headquarters here already, but they just, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, they still have to slab it in Florida and ship it back, and it's like, I don't know. I'm sure you know, but off the top of your head, like, what would be the cost of grading and shipping a single, let's just say, a Silver Age book from England to Florida and back? I mean, it's got to be, I don't know, like 60 pounds all in. Just crazy. What's up, Trace? Yeah, I know it's not normal. I know it's very not normal. Anyway, I got one more night in this Airbnb after tonight, so that's fine. Thank you, Teach. Teach, yeah, I'm having a great time. I really am. And food's been great. It's good to find. It's nice to find good coffee. I think the first time that I was here as a coffee drinker, was maybe like 6, 7 years ago, and most coffee places weren't doing like filtered coffee and stuff like that, and pour overs, all that stuff. And now it's everywhere. It's invaded the shores. He did a modern clean and press submission. It was 55 pounds. Yeah, and that's it's a yeah. Was it CCS, or was it, you're saying third party, like outside of CCS? Um, but still, that's let's see what that is. It's probably like $65. 55 times 1.27, $70. Yeah. Um, yeah, the more the R&R is going to come on the second leg of this trip. London is not a place you really rest and relax. It's New York, but on the other side of the ocean. It's the same thing. And I've never really found relaxation in New York in the 35 years I lived there. But I love it here. But Scotland's going to be the real rest and relaxation. Oh, okay. The clean and press was local. Did you find any cool books? Yeah, Trace, you go back and watch the beginning of the video. I showed off a stack, and this is just a little bit of what I got back, of what I bought. I will be buying more. Don't worry. Yeah, it's not as smoggy as New York. Not right now, at least. I know the fires are contributing to that. I mean, London's big. It smells in parts, but that's just like every big city. Garbage smells everywhere. Yeah, I've only been to, this will be the second time I've seen a show in London. And I was at the Roundhouse a couple years, about 6 years ago or so. That was fantastic. The Roundhouse was a fun place to see a show. But yeah, I'd love to, catch some of the other venues. I'd love to see something at the Hammersmith, and then some of the legendary venues. But I mean, this week I could have easily have gone to a show every night. I could have gone to see Bruce and Billy and Bruce, and then I think fucking Who play next week. But I didn't want to spend all my time going to shows. May go to something in Edinburgh because it's Edinburgh Jazz Fest when I get there. But it's basically just going to play it by ear. Edinburgh is such a beautiful city. I'm so excited to go back there. I was there in 2019 for 6 days and easily could have stayed more. A lot of history in that city. And yeah, excited to just dig around the used bookstores and the comic book stores there. I know there's a lot of used bookstores because I went into a bunch when I was there. Electric Ballroom would be cool. I've never heard of Underworld, but I would like to go to Underworld if what's her name's there, Kate Beckinsale. Yeah, but it's kind of a shame because I did talk to each of the comic store owners, and the people working at the comic stores I went to all echoed the same thing, that COVID really killed the a lot of the retail comic stores in the city, and a lot of them closed up shop and just went to online. And I found some great like online comic sellers based out of London, but I don't like ordering things that I can't see in person because, for example, doesn't seem that people that sell comics in this town, at least in person, really give you an idea of what the grade of the book is. And they don't want you to open them. They want to be the ones that open them, which is fine. But I'm just used to selling and buying books the way that I do. I sell books, I detail the description, and I give you a grade of what I think it is. That gives you an idea of what you're getting as opposed to nothing. There's the Bobby. I have never been to Greece. No. I'd probably go there. I mean, it's not super high on my list, but the islands there look absolutely stunning, and the food I know I'm gonna like because I like everything that comes from the entire Mediterranean. And obviously, I know it's old. Underworld is underneath the World's End pub. Oh, that's really funny. Well, now it's good to know that. I didn't really go into any record stores this time around just because I'm not trying to bring any vinyl home with me. Uh, First three trips that I came to the UK, I think I brought home like 30 pounds of records each time. This time it's comics. But yeah, uh, there's one comic seller that's online from here. I forget the name of the store, but he's got like all this Golden Age stuff, and it's got like every Silver Spider-Man and all this, and it's just like if I can't go and see the books in person, I don't want to buy them. It's hard to find books in person here. Pretty much every town and city will have a place, but not easy to find. Yeah, I mean, there was a couple of places that were 30 to 40 miles or so outside the city that would have been like an hour and change train ride. I really wanted to go to panel gallery, but I didn't realize it was that far out of the city because it's the only original art gallery in London. Trying to bring back vinyl safely, dude. I've done it so many times, but it's such a pain in the ass. It's such a pain in the ass, Tyler, because it takes up so much real estate in your suitcase and it's heavy. Um, when I used to go out to LA a lot, I would go to Amoeba and Amoeba Records and I'd buy fucking like stack of records and usually just bring that as my second carry on. That's right, Mattis. It's Saturday. Sit down, but it's Sunday for me because it's 12:12 a.m. on Sunday morning. If I ever decide, hey, not much of a comic scene, I think Greek women will be more enjoyable than comics just for that one trip. Yeah, I mean, I know there's Greek comics because I've seen some of the stuff that was published in the 80s. In the 80s. Oh, excuse me. Oh, yeah, so it's a little late here, but that's okay. I didn't know when to do it. I was like, because I wasn't going to get up at 6 a.m. just to start doing this. 6 a.m. would work for the late night people that were on the East Coast of the United States, and then it would be perfect for the West Coast because that's, it's like 9 o'clock at night. But yes, I did. I did. I took some video too, Mattis, and Bolland was really, really nice. Um, he was really nice. We just talked for a little bit, and then I asked him. I said thanks for doing those videos with cartoonist kayfabe. It was a lot of fun to watch that stuff, and he appreciated that. And then the thing I got signed by him. Well, Mattis, just go back and watch the first half hour. I showed off some stuff that I got, and then stuff that I got signed by him. Silver Acre. No, I don't think it was Silver Acre. It was some shop that was online. I wish I could remember it. I was looking at it yesterday. It was really descriptive about the actual. It was really, really descriptive about the conditions, like really. But it still didn't really do much for me. I can't remember the name. But he had an extensive thing, but it would just like also the way that I work, my brain works, it's like if I see stuff, then I start remembering other stuff that I really was interested in finding. Like I wouldn't know what UK magazines to look to ask for, but when I'm in the boxes digging through them, my brain's like, all right, look for this, or this. Like I'm sure they're not easy to find, but I would love to find a first Wolverine in the Hulk magazines. They seem to go all the way back to the early 100s, and they seem to go all the way up to kind of like the 250, 280 range. So there's a Hulk 181 reprint in there. I am not. I don't really do the CGC sign stuff. But I mean, it's not a bad thing to do. Like you said, it might be his last signing. So I don't think it's a bad idea. If you want to write Thomas signature, sure. Sure. I mean, I'm not against it as a collector. It's just not my thing. Because I used to get books signed by my in person, like today, like the Ballin book. I just, the slabs are inconsequential to me, but in a value, in a display sense, sending stuff into CGC for their signings is good. Um, yeah, yeah. And pick something. I mean, it's not like you're gonna have to struggle to pick a good Roy Thomas book. He has been part of 3 decades of Marvel, 2 decades of Marvel, something like that. More. They definitely existed. The first Blade reprint, and my sister got me. That's cool. I saw I should have bought it. I don't know why I didn't buy it. I saw the UK printing of that like Blade Super Special magazine where he's wearing the brown leather coat and he's kind of like front and center. I forget who the first appearance of his mother in that book, in that magazine. Anyway, I should have bought it. I don't know why I didn't. I got a it happens every once in a while, but I definitely got overwhelmed at the con today because like for every like 10 boxes a dealer would have of US sized comics, whether they were pence or dollars, uh, they would have like 3 or 4 or 5 magazine boxes. And I like it's hard for me to stop buying those things because as a collector, I think they're fucking cool. And as a seller, I know who, if once I put that stuff up in a sale, everybody's going to want it. I'm not picking boring stuff, let me tell you that, like I wouldn't consider this to be boring, and I wouldn't consider something like this to be boring. It's just very unique. Or, Secret Wars issues with alternate, cover art. So, weird thing is the Blade is in the issue before it as well because they printed it. Yeah, the and I, like I couldn't tell you that for a fact, but I can almost like kind of sense that today as I was flipping through this stuff, is that this stuff was kind of printed wacky, out of order, or just like, yeah, like this first appearance of a character cover would be used for something that wasn't the first appearance. But it's cool. It's very cool. It's like, look, I'd be lying if I said it. It would be amazing if I could be kind of the person that pushes some of this stuff to the forefront of, like I want people to know that this stuff is cool. It's not going to be easy for everybody to get anyway, but I think it's unique enough that it would be fun to see this stuff get popularized because like it's weird from the standpoint of some of the people over here. They were saying that the Pence price sells really well to Americans. But in the experience that I have and watching friends and listening to people talk about the Pence variants, as we would call them, they don't sell. So I don't know who's buying them. But the Pence prices are cool. But I think shit like this is so much cooler because, like, it's different. It's literally different. It's a different size. Like you said, it's printed in black and white. It's different art sometimes. You get stories that are probably not you I mean, I have no fact behind this, but common sense tells me that if they were gonna print fucking weird stuff that never got printed in the States, it would come here, like backups or, just stuff that was shelved. Yeah. Yeah. And it's funny, Tyler, like maybe 2 years ago, I was at a store local in Seattle and he had some of those Spider-Man weeklies for like a quarter each. It's like during his big like summer sale or something like that. And I just grabbed all of them, every single one of them. I just grabbed the whole stack of them and bought them. And like I thought they were cool, and I would look through them all and like, I'd put them up on claim sales like this is a Spider-Man, but it has stories of Kirby Fantastic Four and Kirby Thor, this, that, and the other thing. And people were just like, that's cool. $10, maybe I could sell them each. But I, like you said, Tyler, it's like I start showing this stuff off when I get back. And I would imagine I'm going to see some people show up in sales that may normally not buy stuff like this. And some people trying to hype the price variant. Right. Exactly. Just couldn't agree with this statement more, because like the price variants are cool, but unlike, if you were looking at like a French version of Secret Wars #8, you might get a different cover, or they would use Todd art on books that weren't necessarily that in Italy. But these are so unique. Yeah, yeah. And you know what the thing is, and like I know it's out here, right? Like I know there's going to be people out here that have it. I don't know where to find it, but there's not just obscure comics. There's other stuff like not maybe toys, but like promotional items that came out here in the 70s and the 80s, like stickers and cards and posters and all that types of stuff. I would love to be able to find some of that. And then I know Panini prints cards in Europe with the Marvel license, but I haven't seen anybody selling Marvel cards. I wasn't even going to touch the realm of 2000 AD, even though I love Judge Dredd. There's just too much to really wrap your head around. But I met Brian Bolland, so that's cool. And Bisley, two people that have drawn Judge Dredd very well. Yeah, I've seen some of the merch in the pictures in the magazines. I've seen some of the merch in some older stuff, and then the free gift, that would come in some of these weeklies are pretty cool. But yeah, the merch out here was pretty insane. Oh yeah, I looked at some Star Wars stuff today. I saw Star Wars #1 a couple of times on the UK, printing side, but I didn't buy anything. I'm not ruling it out. I just haven't seen anything that was like, I need to have this, because there was no Jar Jar Binks. But no, I would love to get a Star Wars #1. I saw somebody that had like 1 through 10, but I don't know if they ever did like any version of the first Boba Fett in a different cover, or the first mention of the Mandalorians, because those are two of my favorite books, or any of the Empire Strikes Back books. Another thing that's super popular here is Treasury editions. Like Treasury editions are more popular over here than they are in the States by far. Yeah, I got 2 of them. I got one with a thing. It's like a hat, and then I think I got one with a Captain America sticker. But yeah, they are really tough to get, because right, like what's the first thing you're gonna do as a kid in 1982 or 83 or 77 when you get that magazine and there's a fucking like a Spider-Man mask or something? You're gonna put it right on. Go right on. Treasuries always seem to have some of the, they do, and but beyond the best covers, they have the best version of the artwork. You get the newsprint artwork this big, and you get pinups and stuff like that. What's going on, Bigby? How you doing, my friend? Hope you're well. I don't know what that was. Give me one sec. But yeah, the free gifts, if I found any more of those, I'd probably just buy them on site, because yeah, they are weird. Yeah, the size, Treasury editions, it's true, size matters. But yeah, it's been a lot of fun so far. This is like I said, I think it's my 5th time in London. Probably have spent over a month's worth of time here in this city. There's so much more to see and there's so much more to do. But this is one of those trips where sticking to my plan of like going to at least something comic related every day I've kind of hit that mark. Tomorrow I'll probably go to Mega City and then go to Wembley. And then Monday, I'm taking the train up to Edinburgh. Edinburgh. And I know there's like, I've been to a couple comic stores there, but I didn't get at any of the comic stores that had like older stuff. And like I said, there's a bunch of used bookstores there. So I'll go to those too, because I'm bound to find some of those annuals in the used bookstores. And then from Edinburgh, I'm driving up the coast, the eastern coast, going to visit my friend, lives near St. Andrews, and then going to pass through Aberdeen. Aberdeen's got 2 or 3 comic stores. I think it's 2. I'll go there, and then go north and cut west, go to Skye. I'm staying on Skye for 2 days, and then I'll spend 2 nights in Glasgow. I'll hit all the comic shops in Glasgow, and then I go home, see some friends up in Scotland, which will be nice. And yeah, maybe I'll run into Frank Quietly or something. Quietly. Frank lives in Scotland. I wish I personally knew any Scottish comic creators in Scotland, because it would be fun to do like, like a day at a comic book store with a Scottish comic creator. So if anybody has any connections, man, I don't mind tea, but I prefer biscuits. But I've been drinking a lot of coffee. That's all I ever want to do is drink coffee. Scotland's got a lot of good coffee too. Since I don't drink anymore, Scotch will not be drank, but I will be bringing a bottle back for a friend, maybe. See how much room I have in my suitcase. But yeah, it's been a fantastic trip so far, and appreciate everybody being able to watch this, whatever time zone you're in, because I wasn't sure. Next Sunday, I'll be in Glasgow. Nope, I'll be on Skye. The chances of me being able to stream on Skye are probably slim, but maybe. I'll be at a hotel, so Comic Tim stowed away in the cargo hold. Comic Tim took a trip to Forbidden Planet the other day, where he fit right in with all of the people that don't really know anything about comics, but they're at a comic store. And Forbidden Planet's interesting. Thank you, Senny. I am, and I appreciate that. Forbidden Planet, and some of you might know the name because it's arguably like the biggest comic store name in the world, because they started in London and they were a huge driving force in the comics scene back in the 80s and the 90s. And then there's a Forbidden Planet in New York City. But what they've really turned into is like if Barnes and Noble was a hot topic. It's like all the toys and the statues and the little tchotchkes and the t-shirts and the this, that, and the other thing. And then downstairs it's just like all graphic novels, nothing else. I think they do exclusive covers sometimes, but yeah, and then it's like downstairs is graphic novels, hardcovers. It's split with manga, which obviously is huge. So Comic Tim took a visit there. I didn't need to go. Thank you, Constantine. I really appreciate that. And then there's more to come. Vision Comic Tim recreating Braveheart. Take our. Oh my God. Oof, watch out for that guy. I heard a lot from FB Online, but they're a nightmare. Yeah, they don't do all comics. Like, totally. If you're going to buy stuff there that's new, that's the place to get it. And it's a fascinating place for the fact that it exists is really cool for, the mainstream comic readers. But yeah, it's not a place for collectors or old comic fiends. It's there for, people that truly like, it's a tourist spot. I don't have a real problem with it. It's just not my cup of tea. Comic Tim, on the other hand, he loved it. He's talking about weird stuff, man. Anywho, I think I'm going to call it here. It's been an hour. But I appreciate the bunch of you that came to hang out and listen to me talk about my trip in the comic scene here. But if you are thinking about going to London, Mega City, Notting Hill Book Exchange, Forbidden Planet if you want to see it, and Gosh Comics. That's what I would see. I know there's a couple more, in the radius of London, but well, I appreciate you, Dr. Von Hoot. It's nice to know that I've got a couple of people in this lovely country, in this city, that watch, and I know the time difference kind of kills things, but I appreciate you being here for this. And yeah, this was great. And hopefully I'll be able to do it next Sunday around this, or Saturday or Sunday around this time, but I'll figure that out as I get closer to next weekend. Appreciate everybody for watching. I'll have a new video that drops in a couple hours, I guess. I don't know. I don't even remember what time I had it drop, but it drops in a couple hours. It is a video about a small collection I picked up a couple weeks ago. But appreciate everybody. Enjoy the rest of your weekend, whatever day and time it is right now, and keep on digging. And I'll see you soon, Tyler. Love you, my brother, and we'll talk soon. All right, everybody, have a great night. You have a good one too, Doc.
West Coast Avengers.